Welcome back. It's time now to go in depth. Over the past month, we've been taking a look at entrepreneurship in Jamaica. We showed you some of the challenges facing small businesses and also some of the successes. These stories have led to many questions about policy. So Kalilah Enriquez sat down with the Minister of Commerce and Industry, Anthony Hylton. Here's part one of her interview.
Every year, hundreds of entrepreneurs open up new businesses in Jamaica. Some are successful and are able to open and even grow. Others struggle to make ends meet. I sat down with the man in charge of making sure more of those entrepreneurs make it. There was a recent report, the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, the GEM report, and among the findings were that Jamaicans are very confident and they feel that they have the skills and the capacity to build and maintain a business. However, there is a very high discontinuation rate, the highest amongst all the countries studied. Why do you think that is?
Well, firstly, I think the GEM report also says that Jamaicans have the highest rate of startups and also the highest rate of discontinuation. There is some correlation there. Obviously, if you start a lot of small enterprises, chances are that a number of them will also discontinue, and that is a global reality that small businesses tend to discontinue after some time. And so what it evidences, and we agree, is that the Jamaicans are entrepreneurial in nature. They're confident, they want to start businesses. In our findings, and we've done our own findings, our own research, and among the findings is that some of the things that we've been aware of for some time and are trying to address. One of which is the financing. Financing is very difficult in the current environment.
And don't the small business owners and those who study them know it?
The biggest challenge has been our capital base. The ability to compete with bigger firms which have ease of access to funding and grants and other maybe benefits from financial institutions, simply as in possibly with an overdraft or some other facility, which makes it a little bit easier for them to invest without the heavy payback options.
Has it been difficult for you as a small business to get that capital support?
There's a balance. I think that you can get it, but it's at what cost? And basically you have to be able to analyze the industry and see what's going on with the industry to see if it is a viable option. The banks want to give you money, but at what cost to you? The banks are in to make money.
What are the reasons why those firms stopped operating? The two main reasons we found were their companies were not profitable. One, and secondly, they had problems accessing finance. Many entrepreneurs, especially the small ones, they get their money from family, from friends, not from the banks. And she recognized that people, potential entrepreneurs, are having a hard time accessing funds from official sources. That points to government policy too.
So what is the government doing to help entrepreneurs get the money they need to start up businesses?
There we're looking at a number of things, including the issue of venture capital. The issue of how we used e-money, mobile money, making financing cheaper, because part of it is that our financial institutions...
Is that the thing on the cell phone that they use in like Rwanda and these countries?
Right. Kenya.
Kenya, that's the country.
Right. So e-money, and I must tell you that we are very advanced in a trial system here in Jamaica.
Wonderful.
Something I saw just last week. So that's an area we're looking at. We have now in a very far advanced state of readiness legislation to come before the Parliament that addresses the matter, for example, of a modern insolvency or bankruptcy act. That is very important. We have currently in place a bankruptcy act that penalizes entrepreneurship, we believe. And therefore, our task, and I said we are very far advanced in that, I think by the first quarter of next year, 2013, we should have legislation in Parliament to transform that into one in which entrepreneurship is in fact being supported and being encouraged.
Another issue small businesses have with big government is bureaucracy, or as one entrepreneurship calls it,
paperwork. It is very tedious. I mean, over 4 years, going into 4 years now, I haven't received a license. I mean, I put in for my license over 2 years, but it's about 4 years now because of auditing and stuff like that, and all those things take money.
You mentioned the ease of starting business report. However, there's been another report that perhaps has had a lot more press than that one, and it's the doing business report. Jamaica has consistently ranked pretty low. I think the last report we're at number 90 out of 185, and that's after having fallen 5 spaces. Again, why can't we get it right?
Jamaica has done quite well in the same rankings on the ease of starting businesses, so that persons can in fact get something going, get a business going. Once they get going, there are some realities that we are aware of that they'll contend with. Financing difficulties is one. As I said, the managerial skill to maintain that is another challenge. But it is true that there is some level of bureaucracy as well that we have to address. And we're doing that it's the work of this ministry, and in fact, it is my number one task. And we're doing that by...
What specifically is that number one task?
The ease of address the conditions for doing business in Jamaica as a first step, because we recognize that there are challenges. I personally chair the National Competitiveness Council that meets once per quarter and address particularly the matter of the ease of doing business, taking that very same report and going through various aspects of it. And we're very clear now as to what exactly are those constraints and what are some of the challenges and some of the issues. And we're going through it systematically. But let me make this point as well, that it is true that there is an element of bureaucracy. It is also true that we're working to address those in a very systematic way. But part of that ranking also rests on the fact that it is not so much that Jamaica has these issues and it is not addressing them. Part of the issues is also a comparative table about how other jurisdictions are addressing those problems. So you can be improving, but others are improving faster, so that you find yourself in a position of say 90, and it isn't that there isn't improvement taking place.
Do you think we've improved over the past year?
Yes, we have, definitely. And there's a recent report that came out, a competitiveness report, that shows Jamaica making significant steps in the ease of paying taxes, for example.
Well, I was just going to bring that up. Number 174, almost last.
There has been improvement on the latest report that we've seen. There has been improvement, significant improvement. But I will accept that not nearly as much as we would like and we intend to achieve within the next year or two.
Now, a year or two may sound like a long time for those who need help now, but at least it's a start.
And that's it for In Depth. Your CEEN Sports Report is next.